In this presentation, it will talk about the Australian Tertiary Administration Rank, which is also known as the ATAR. So what is an ATAR? An ATAR is a primary mechanism used nationally for tertiary admissions and indicates a student's position related to other students. It is a standard measure of a student's overall academic achievement in relation to other students where these students have studied different subject combinations. ATARs are expressed as a number on a 2,000-point scale from 99.95 down to 0.00 in steps of 0.05. So the highest ATAR is 99.95, then 99.90, then 99.85, and so on down to 0.00. ATARs below 30 are reported as 30 or less. So who calculates the ATAR? The Queensland Tertiary Administration Centre calculates the ATAR. Who are they? They're a non-profit organisation and they're owned by 7 universities in Queensland. So what does QTAC do? They provide information about tertiary study and courses, receive and process approximately 75,000 applications per year, make offers in over 1,800 tertiary courses on behalf of 17 institutions, and they are the ones who calculate and award the ATARs. So the grading system in the QCE system are recorded by QCAA. So the general subjects reported are numerical marks from 0 to 100 with an exit result from A to E, with the A being the highest result. Applied subjects are reported as final subject reports as an exit result from A to E, with A being the highest. So units of study, units 1 and 2, they represent the formative years of study, developmentally less complex than units 3 and 4. The results in units 1 and 2 are not provided to QTAC, and they are not included in the calculation of ATARs. Units 3 and 4 represent the summative years of study. Students undertake required assessments in units 3 and 4. This leads to the overall raw subject results that is provided to QTAC from QCAA for scaling and from which ATARs are calculated. So the Queensland Certificate of Education, the QCE, and the ATAR, Australian Tertiary Administration Rank, are different and have different purposes. So this QCE, the Queensland Certificate of Education, certifies learning, showing the individual has achieved a specific standard of education at senior schooling level and may be considered by employers and the general community. The ATAR, in comparison, tells us about the student's position or ranking compared to all other students in the state. The only intended purpose for the ATAR is to assist with selecting applicants for tertiary study. So how can students access the QCE results from QCAA? They can access this from their My QCE through the student portal. So they need to log on to the student portal, register, and they can, once they sign in, they can see their results for their subjects. To summarize, what is the ATAR? The ATAR is a primary mechanism used nationally for tertiary admissions. It indicates a student's position relative to other students. It is based on a 2,000-point scale from 99.95 down to 0.00. ATARs less than 30 are expressed as 30 or less. ATARs are calculated by QTAC for entry into tertiary courses, and is a standard pathway to tertiary study in Queensland. So to be ATAR eligible, students must study 5 general subjects or 4 general subjects and 1 applied subject or 1 completed certificate 3 or higher level VET qualification. In addition to this, students must also successfully complete an English subject. The English subject can be English, English as an additional language, English and literature extension, literature and essential English. They must successfully complete English to a minimum of a C letter grade. Here are the subject offerings we have here at Yeronga. We have a mixture of general subjects, applied subject, and VET subjects. Through a combination of these subjects, students can be ATAR eligible, providing they are studying 4 general subjects plus 1 applied, or 4 general subjects plus a certificate 3 or higher. So let's look at some ATAR eligibility examples. The first one is where a student is studying English as an additional language, general mathematics, legal studies, drama, and visual arts. So they're studying 6 general subjects. It makes them ATAR eligible. Another example is where students are studying English as an additional language, mathematical methods, biology, music, and music and practice. Music and practice is an applied subject, so here a student is studying 4 general subjects plus 1 applied subject. It still makes them ATAR eligible. And in the last example, this student is studying English as an additional language, general mathematics, legal studies, geography, diploma of business. They're studying 4 general subjects plus 1 certificate course that is a Cert 3 or above. In this case, it's a diploma of business, and it still makes them ATAR eligible. Please note that while it's possible for students to study 5 subjects, we recommend that they begin with 6 for their QC eligibility. So it's important that we also discuss not rated. If students do not submit a piece of assessment for an IA, which is an internal assessment, and are awarded a not rated, an NR, this will result in the student receiving an NR in the subject overall, even if they complete the remaining pieces of assessments. For Units 1 and 2, students must complete all IAs and receive a result for each piece to be awarded an overall result. For Units 3 and 4, students must complete and be awarded a result for all IAs and complete the external exam in order to be awarded an overall results for Units 3 and 4. So let's look at an example of a student where they became ATAR ineligible for not submitting a piece of assessments in Units 3 and 4. Here the student studied English, chemistry, drama, accounting, and general maths. Remember that ATARs are calculated on Units 3 and 4 and not Units 1 and 2. Here for chemistry, we can see a student submitted their IA1, IA3, and completed the external exam. But because they did not submit their IA2 and received a not rated, they did not receive an overall subject score or final grade for chemistry. When we look at general maths, here we can see a student has completed their IA1, IA2, IA3, and completed the external exam. Even though they received a D for the subject overall for Units 3 and 4, it was still being used to calculate the ATAR. However, because the student only studied 5 general subjects and nothing else, and by not submitting that piece of assessment in chemistry, they became ATAR ineligible. So this student has become ATAR ineligible because they received an NR for Units 3 and 4 for chemistry. Remember, to be ATAR eligible, they must complete Units 3 and 4 in 5 general subjects, 4 general and 1 applied subject, or 4 general plus 1 certificate 3 or higher. In this case, the student was only studying 5 general subjects and made themselves ATAR ineligible by not completing a piece of assessment. And that's why we encourage students to complete all pieces of assessment, even if they receive 0 as their overall result. It will still count towards their ATAR. It may not be a great ATAR, but they still remain ATAR eligible. So to summarise, if a student does not submit a piece of assessment for an IA, internal assessment, they are awarded a not rated, an NR. This will result in the student receiving an NR in the subject overall, even if they complete the remaining pieces of assessments. In Units 1 and 2, students must complete all IAs to receive a result for each piece in order to be awarded an overall result, and this is calculated towards their QCE, the Queensland Certificate of Education. Units 3 and 4 must be completed and be awarded a result for all IAs, because remember Units 3 and 4 are counted together, and they also must complete the external exam to be awarded an overall result that will be used to calculate towards their ATAR as well as their QCE. Scaling. So scaling is necessary so that students' results in different subjects can be compared fairly. Students can study thousands of different combinations of subjects in their senior schooling. Scaling ensures that students are neither advantaged nor disadvantaged based on the subjects they choose. The process adjusts the raw results in each subject to take. ATAR scalings will vary depending on what students study. Here's an example where a student received an ATAR of 91.3. Here they studied business, English, health, legal studies, maths methods, and where they studied and applied subjects for social community studies in Units 1 and 2 in Year 11. Now remember, ATARs are based upon Units 3 and 4, and in this case it looks at IA1, IA2, IA3, and the external exam. Here we can see the students achieved an A in 4 of the general subjects and a B in maths methods. QTAC calculates this ATAR by scaling them, and in this case the student received a 91.3. Here's another example where a student received an ATAR of 86.65. They studied biology, business, English, legal studies, maths methods, and physical education. QTAC will select the 5 best subjects the students achieved, and in this case they would have picked biology, business, legal studies, maths methods, and physical education because they received B's and A's. And this, through their calculation, QTAC has calculated the student to be an 86.65. Here's another example where a student studied biology, English, general maths, visual arts, and did psychology through distance education. The students received mostly A's, but 1 C, and they scaled them to an 83.25. So how are ATARs calculated and awarded? First, the results in Units 3 and 4 are added together by QCAA at the completion of each subject. QCAA provides these overall raw subject results and completed VET qualifications to QTAC. QTAC undertakes a subject scaling process. The best 5 scaled subject results from eligible inputs are added together for each student. So the best 5 subject aggregates. Students are placed in descending order by merit based on the best 5 subject aggregates. Then the students are allocated into the 2000 ATAR bands. For more information about the allocation model news, there is a paper called Calculating the ATAR in Queensland found on the QTAC website. So the sequence of events. It starts with QCAA collecting Units 3 and 4 subject results and the completed VET qualifications. QTAC receives the raw results. QTAC scales the results. ATARs are calculated on a ranked scale from 99.95 to 2000. Then QTAC releases the ATAR and students access the ATAR through their account. To access the ATAR each year, the ATAR will communicate to eligible Year 12 students via the QTAC ATAR portal. And it's important that students log on and register to receive their ATAR results. In the ATAR portal, students can download a copy of their ATAR results, and students can pretty much sign up to this in Year 12 when QTAC admissions open in August, and ATARs are released in December, usually on the same day and time as the QCAA results. So there is all about your ATAR, a guide for Queensland Year 11 and 12 students on the QTAC website. I highly suggest you to read this paper, which will explain more about the ATAR system. So rumours, myths and legends. A rumour. The Queensland ATAR can include other inputs like IB subjects, music and dance qualifications, Certificate 1 and 2 qualifications and traineeships. So the reality is that ATARs can only include general subjects, applied subjects and completed VET qualifications at Certificate 3 level and higher, and ATAR must include 4 general subjects and then 1 applied or 1 Certificate 3 and higher. Rumour. Less challenging math subject scales better for ATAR. The reality is the difficulty of a subject is not directly related to how well it scales. How a subject scales is dependent on the achievement of that cohort of students in all their subjects, including their math subject. Rumour. The maximum ATAR possible with the 4+1 model for general and +1 VET or applied is 75. The reality is there's no set maximum or minimum ATAR for any model. The ATAR calculation is based on data. the subject studied and results achieved, and this will vary by cohort year by year. Rumour: I passed all my QCE subjects, so my ATAR will be above 50. The reality is that ATAR is not ranked on a score or percentage. As a rank, the ATAR figure can sometimes appear lower or even higher than the raw QCE result. Myths and legends. I will only get an ATAR if I apply to QTAC for tertiary entry. The reality is no. QTAC will calculate an ATAR for all students who have qualified for an ATAR, even if they're not applying for tertiary entry. However, students are not notified of their results unless they've signed up to the ATAR portal and then created an account where they can actually access their ATAR. Another myth and legend is that I will not qualify for an ATAR, so higher education is closed off for me. The reality is that some tertiary courses are accessible without a formal tertiary ranking like an ATAR. There are other pathways to tertiary education, study, including VET. Some universities will use students who have completed a diploma of business as entry into university. However, universities such as UQ, you will need to wait 1 year before you can use your diploma of business for entry into that university. QUT, you will have to wait for 2 years before you can use your diploma of business for entry into QUT. But other universities such as Griffith, USQ, ACU will look at your diploma, and in cases such as Griffith, they will look at your Certificate 3 and may use that as entry into university. If you need more information about ATAR, there is an ATAR hotline on the QTAC website, or you can visit but if you want to know more about the QCE and subject and curriculum, please visit the QCAA website. If you have any questions, please make sure to contact the senior schooling team, and we will answer to our best ability. But by all means, please jump onto the QTAC website, call them or email them if you require more information. Thank you.